Welcome back to Cafe Racer Garage. I'm Dan, and today I'm going to show you how you can replace your original chain guard with something a little bit more custom and unique. Hopefully this video gives you some inspiration or ideas with the skills and tools that you have. This is what I came up with, and it's a great little weekend project, so let's get into it. I had a phone call the other day from a guy named James. He calls me up and got my number from a friend of a friend, I believe, and he asked me if I could build his bike for him. And although I'm not actually doing any bike builds for customers at this stage, maybe something I'll look into in the future, he did see one of my videos of the vapor blasting on the carburetors, and he said, that is epic, I want the same finish on my carbs. I have the carbs here because he sent them across, and I'll show you what they are, and it's pretty much going to tell you exactly what kind of bike he has. So some of you straight off the bat might know exactly what this is off, but for anyone who doesn't, it's off a Honda CBX 6-cylinder. This is an absolute masterpiece. As you can see, someone's had a go at polishing the ends, this top and the one on the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to vapor blast the entire thing. And the underside doesn't look too bad, the bowls don't look too bad. I have to disassemble it slightly. The thing with vapor blasting and the way I use the glass bead is it's not going to affect any rubbers or anything like that. It's going to clean up all these little brass pieces like brand new. The whole thing's going to look brand new. It is going to take a little bit of time to get it all looking magic. And that's pretty much what I'm going to work on. I just wanted to show you the before shot of what it looks like right now so that I can show you what it looks like after. Something that's really good at cleaning carburetors to get rid of all that stale fuel that usually sits on the inside and all sorts of random places you can't get to is an ultrasonic cleaner. And my ultrasonic cleaner that I have is just tiny, and it probably, even if I was to take these things apart and just have the carby body itself, it probably still wouldn't completely be submerged. Like I said, mine's only tiny. So what I did was, and I'm not going to completely pull these things apart because I'm not actually rebuilding them for him. He has someone else doing that. I'm just cleaning the outsides, making them look pretty. What I did was I've upgraded my ultrasonic cleaner and got something a little bit bigger. This is like 30 liters, and it looks like I did my measurements right because, damn, this thing's heavy. It looks like it fits perfectly, completely submerged. Oh. So that thing's going to come in so handy. So a quick tip here, if you're going to create something like this, make sure that you're following a line of something. Like for me, this here is the same as this here. So I'm actually following something that's already on the bike to follow the lines. But make sure if you're making brackets, you're making more than one, make sure they follow each other as well. For instance, this little guy is going to go here. And the best way to get those angles right to make sure that they work is to get yourself a little adjustable bevel here like I've got. And that'll pretty much make sure that that is on the same line as that when I put that in place. These guys here aren't very expensive. This is just a cheap little plastic one. I'll leave a link in the description. Definitely get yourself one. Put it in your toolbox. They're very inexpensive, but super handy for so many things that you're doing on your bike. So if you're familiar with motorcycles, you know that generally speaking, but not always, they'll have a cover that sits over this front sprocket here. As you can see, there's none there, and the one that I had I took off because it was cracked and it needed repairing, and I did that. I don't know if you can relate to this, but over the space of a couple of days I've spent a few hours looking for this damn thing and I can't find it anywhere. Usually when I pull things off bikes, I put them in a certain place. Like there's a couple of boxes here which just have parts in them for bikes, and I've searched through every single one of them and it's not to be found. Whether it's fallen out and fallen behind something, when I've looked and tried to find it there, and nothing. I don't know where it's gone. So later in the video, I'll explain to you what happened because it's kind of a bit of a funny story. Okay, so where I'm at with this chain guard is I've got the skeleton built. The supports are on, obviously. It holds it up pretty well. I may end up beefing it up ever so slightly. But the thing I've got to do now is the infill. The infill is something that it's gone through about 3 or 4 different iteration changes. And I kind of built something out of plastic, as you can see here. This is kind of designed so you can actually see the chain from the top looking down. And there was going to be more to this, but I think it might be a bit busy. I'm not sure. I'll see how we go through the building process, see if I change it. But like I said, this is just plastic. I made it, bent it, and then gave this to a friend of mine who's a fabricator, has a shop down here close to me. And he pretty much built that one for me out of stainless after I asked him if he could cut it on his CNC router, which he did. Awesome job. So now that is going to be pretty much welded just underneath, which we'll get onto now. Remember earlier on in the video how I mentioned I'd lost this side cover, couldn't find it anywhere, and it's basically been repaired. A friend of mine actually did a bit of a weld repair on it because it had a bit of a crack in one of the corners, and it's a cast aluminium, so it's not the best to weld. It needs to be super clean. But he did a weld on it and repaired it for me, and I've lost the damn thing. So what I ended up doing was going online and getting myself a new one. Well, a second-hand one, but it's new to me. And it still needs the little plate that goes here. I actually ordered the plate as well as this. This has turned up, but the plate hasn't, so I'm not sure what the go with that is. They pretty much came from the same place. I'm not sure. I'll have to find out. And I've got this now, and I'm probably going to do some testing with it, with some colors of what color I want to paint the engine. But after this arrived, I was looking for the seals for the forks, and you won't believe it, but I found it. It literally was in the box that I had pulled everything out of and put it back again, and I don't know why I didn't see it. If you can relate to this, leave me a comment and let me know. But that's the part that I was after. That's obviously the plate that goes on there. The bolts are probably still in that same box somewhere. And usually I do this sort of stuff. I usually tape things or zip tie them, and same with bolts. I usually keep them with the part that it goes on so that I don't have this problem. And literally it was in the box that I had looked in, and just for some unknown reason it just wasn't there when I looked. So now I have 2 of them, and this is the repair that was done on it. As you can see, it's been ground down a little bit. The weld I think was going all the way through there. Anyway, I'll show you the underside. So as you can see, I ground it down a little bit, but I didn't want to lose the strength of it, so I left that because that was obviously the inside and you never see it. Not that I need to worry about it now because I've got another one. So the thing with steel is when you heat it up and weld it, it loves to move. You put in so much concentrated heat right in one little spot that the other piece will just twist like this and come. It may come back slightly, but so the bolt holes usually don't line up perfectly once you're welding, especially things this, I guess, thin. And what I'm going to do to try and avoid this is try and peg it down, like just clamp it down in a few places, just to try and stop it from moving as much as possible. This here, I don't know if I'm going to do anything with those. I can always bend them back. It's not going to be a problem, but yeah, it's just the main, keeping this nice and straight is what I'm trying to do. Just put some clamps on it and get it welded. So if you are making something out of steel and it does twist and bend on you, don't be too concerned if the bolt holes don't line up. You can usually get it back and manipulate it back in position fairly easy, especially this kind of stuff because it's fairly thin and easy to sort of bend. But now that that's on, I still need to do the insert. But I do need to make the mounting position for this guy here. So remember earlier in the video I said I was going to show you the CBX carbs when they came out of the Vapor Blaster. Well, somebody ended up wrapping them up individually and putting them in this box and then realizing that he didn't get footage, and that was me. So what I did end up doing, I want to get these back to James as soon as possible, so I just totally forgot to get the footage. But what I did end up doing is on the Instagram story, I ended up making a short little video for that, which I'll put in right now so you can see how amazing these things turned out. Actually, 2 of the tops on this carburetor are actually being plated, so I believe James is actually going to plate the entire lot. But at least they're all clean and ready to go now, and yeah, I'm really impressed with how they turned out. Before I show you the finished product, if you've enjoyed this video and you want to see more just like this one, click the image on the screen and it will take you through to a playlist, and I'll see you in the next video.